this isn't even the best movie with Glenn Howerton in it I've seen this weekend. Think about that. He's never in movies. Alright. I'm not even that angry, but just, alright, do the thing.
God damn it!
The disappointed, not quite a fuck you, but disappointed. Oh my god. Alright. Hi everyone, it's me. No, we have two delightful... Well, one movie is so bad it's delightful. We will get to that later. We're going to go live after this. But one movie is not good. All right, yeah, it's the Angry Grange Show. Whatever. I'm not gonna do a graphic. Just whatever. I don't feel the nerve to do so because I really feel bad about not liking this one, guys. Hi, I'm Raised on Pop. Hi, I'm Grant, the Movie TV Guy. By the way, welcome to Raised on Popcorn with Grant. And today we're talking about a movie. One of two movies today. The other one is live. You'll know why when we get there. And that movie, and both movies, I had to travel 25 minutes away to my theater next door. I hope that is in the next town over. I really, really hope you guys know how much I do for you guys. All right, during a hailstorm, by the way. Yeah, God didn't even want me to see these movies, but I saw them. And that movie is, because movies and TV show you here, Fool's Paradise. So, this is a heartbreaker. So, Fool's Paradise is written and directed by Charlie Day. He also plays a dual role. And it was shot 5 years ago. And heavily reshot up until 1 year ago. I'm not kidding you. This has been on a shelf forever. It wasn't even originally called Fool's Paradise. It was called El Tonto. Okay? So what's this movie about? Well, Charlie Day plays a nameless guy in a mental hospital who, in one of the few genuinely inspired and funny bits in the movie, is kicked out because the hospital doesn't want to pay to take care of him. But essentially, and they throw him out on his ass. But essentially, his character has basically the mental he's basically mute, and he has the mental capacity, according to the doctor, of a 5-year-old child or a Labrador Retriever. And he never speaks. But he looks exactly like a hotshot method actor, also played by Charlie Day. And this is not a spoiler, but it happens in the first 20 minutes, and that is this chunk of the movie where Charlie Day is Motormouth Funny Charlie Day, is when that other character appears, before he immediately, trigger warning, before he accidentally commits suicide via autoerotic asphyxiation. Yeah. And, And so now, they need to finish the movie, and so they have this lookalike come in, who they believe is named Latte Pronto. He becomes an overnight success despite never speaking at all, and that's where the good part of the movie kind of ends, because then after that, he meets Ken Jeong, who plays a gentleman named Lenny, who is desperate to be a publicist but cannot book a client, and they form an unlikely friendship, and from there, the movie just becomes stuff happening to this guy until 90 minutes is reached. Okay. Before we fuck the plot otherwise, look, this movie is... I'm heartbroken that I have to say this, because I'm not going to give this a middle finger of kindness, but at the same time, I'm almost more pissed off at this movie than I would at an actual 0-star movie, because it had ambition, and then every once in a while, there's a funny line, or there's a funny bit. Unlike the critical opinion of it on Rotten Tomatoes, where it has like a 16%, I don't think it's a complete disaster. I think at worst, it's somewhat irritating and a missed opportunity. At best, it's a ambitious failure. Because I think what they misunderstand, Charlie Day misunderstands, is I appreciate that he did this. I admire that he's clearly going for an old school vaudeville kind of thing. Buster Keaton, maybe a little bit of being there in this story. But this movie has no structure. It has really no goal or purpose. It just kind of dicks around for 90 minutes. And then every once in a while, there's a kind of inspired bit of absurdity that kind of gets you and kind of... Like, for instance, Adrian Brody, who actually is kind of funny in this movie as this sort of other, as he says, half-method actor, who drives recklessly on the road that he says is where James Dean had his car accident while shooting a pistol out the window, much to the non-speaking horror of Latte. And that's funny. And every once in a while there's a bit like that kind of really sings and makes you think of the movie this could have been. But the problem is that everyone is playing this because Charlie Day doesn't get to speak at all in this after when he becomes his prominent of the two roles. Everyone is trying to overcompensate, and it kind of gets irritating because it's like everyone is joking and riffing and making one-liners often, and when that doesn't work, flop sweating and screaming because they don't know how to make this a full movie. There's not a movie here. There's a couple inspired bits. You know what it's kind of like? It's like when back in the day when after Wayne's World, which was good, where we had this kind of glut of mostly bad SNL movies where they misunderstood the idea that after 5 minutes the joke stopped, like it's Pat or something. It's not quite as bad as that, but it has the same problem where it's like, for the first, I'll even be generous to say first 20 minutes of this movie, and it's only 98 minutes, it feels longer. You kind of are on board with it, it's kind of funny. The character is an intriguing exercise Charlie Day is doing as a performer, but then once you realize that the movie is going to fall into this rhythm of him kind of bumbling and dicking around his way into misadventures, and that's the movie for the rest of it, it just becomes kind of lethargic and dull. It's one of those movies where there's so many, there are chuckles and a couple of big laughs, but then in between there are like 20 to 30 minute passages of just deadening dead air where it's like you feel your life slipping away. Like it's one of those, it's kind of like, you know, the Nostalgia Chick when she coined the term big-lipped alligator moment. The movie is kind of a big-lipped alligator movie. Just stuff just kind of just happens over and over and over again to this person. And also, because of this, you feel kind of bad for Latte Pronto as a character because he's not, how do I word this? He doesn't understand what's happening to him, and he's being taken advantage of, and you kind of feel like shit. It's kind of, weirdly enough, I kind of had a problem with this movie that a lot of other people had a problem with Beau is Afraid, that I didn't have with Beau is Afraid, where this guy, you just feel bad for him, whereas in this one you kind of do, and in Beau is Afraid, like, there's a reason for his suffering. In this, it's just like this guy is just put through the ringer for kind of no reason, and then the movie just kind of stops. It's just not very good, guys. I hate to say it because it's an ambitious project. And again, like, the cast is great. I mean, even down to some bit parts. Like, Catherine McNamara even shows up for, like, 2 seconds. Just long enough, again, to kind of riff on the assistant. And then she leaves. And it's just like, everyone kind of, it's one of those movies where it's not so much cameos as big-name actors who are probably friends of Charlie Day walking on, doing their kind of one joke once or twice and then leaving, including Glenn Howerton, who has a lot of bronzer on his face, and it seems to be kind of halfway doing a Middle Eastern accent, which is not that funny and kind of racist. There's another element, too, where Jillian Bell is a shaman, and she's doing kind of a sort of pseudo-Indian accent, and it's really, really toned up. Like, there's things in this movie that just do not work. Now, I mentioned this. It was shot 5 years ago. You can tell. Because also, you can tell it also, there were probably whole sections of this movie that were removed. It's too bad, because, again, I just feel like there's a fundamental flaw in this movie, which is taking away Charlie Day's Motormouth shtick too early, and making it about this guy who is just sort of reacting to the things around him without any dialogue. It's like, Charlie Day is... That's not to say that stuff can't work, but Charlie Day is it's not his strength as a performer. It kind of reminds me of like when Eddie Murphy did that movie 1,000 Words, and though, again, like that movie, I think it was a little bit unfairly maligned on some level, but I agree with the criticism that you just shouldn't take away that takes away 90% of the person's talent when they can't really speak the whole movie. Anyway, it's bad. It's a bad, but at the same time, I want Charlie Day to keep at it because I feel like his next movie might be alright. but he just needs to. I'm glad it's kind of similar in a lot of ways to Marlowe, where it's like, I'm glad this movie exists, and I kind of hated it. But that being said, let's end it there, because we got a live review to do. We got so much left to talk about. I'm going to give Fool's Paradise 1.5 stars, and I feel even that's kind of being generous, but I'm not going to give it 0, just because, again, it has ambition. It's not, there is something going for it, not just nothing like a lot of other movies. But it was, after a while, it did become kind of hard to sit through once you realize that it was just going to be this the whole time. Yeah. It's too bad. I actually feel really bad that it's not good, but whatever. Anyway, trailer trash. Let's talk some trailer trash. Transformers Rise of the Beasts. Talked about it, looks good. Oppenheimer, talked about it, looks good. Next Goal Wins, talked about it, looks good. Asteroid City, talked about it, looks good. It Ain't Over, talked about it, looks good. We're seeing it next week. And Joyride, the Red Band trailer, talked about it, looks good. And Was There Shawarma? Yeah, the last scene bleeds into the credits. That is it. Nothing after. Alright. Also, the credits were surprisingly long for the kind of movie this was. Yeah, it's kind of a mess. Anyway. But yeah, that's it. We will be back right after this for Knights of the Zodiac. There's a reason, but not for what you think. I'm not even that mad at it, but you might be surprised at my reaction to it. Anyway, we're going to have a review of that. Might be, it's going to be live, so it has no cap, really. But yeah, so that's coming up next. And tomorrow we have Hypnotic, Monday's Crater, and Fast X, and It Ain't Over are next week. And White Men Can't Jump. That'll all be next time. And Empire Strikes Back we will try to do next week as well. That'll all be next time. And until next time, I'm Grant, the movie and TV guy. I see it all. I'm happy to share it with you. I love you all. I appreciate you all. I love you all, class dismissed. I love you 3000. Be kind to one another. If you like this video, give it a like if you want to. Give it a subscribe if you want to. Give it the bell. I don't know what it does. That's supposed to do. Leave a comment if you can say Grant, I like waffles. It really helps out. Facebook, Raise a Popcorn with Grant. Letterboxd, Raise a Popcorn with Grant. Twitter, @RaiseGrant. Instagram, Raise a Popcorn with Grant. Save Your Lives, Raise on Popcorn. Check out my podcast, Raise a Popcorn with Grant, the podcast on Spotify and Anchor. Some of you already have, but even if you haven't, take care of yourself, take care of your mental health. It's incredibly important, and I want to know down below. What did you think of Fool's Paradise? Did you like the movie? Did you hate the movie? Think my opinion's good? Think I'm full of shit? Comment below, let me know. And until we meet again, we were all raised on popcorn. Make mine with extra butter. And I'll catch you guys next time. Like, right after this is posted. I think it's 40 minutes from now. Alright, take care, everyone. Bye.